Hello and welcome to Unews. I'm Carolina Sarassa, and thank you for being here with us today. And we begin this hour with the latest on the coronavirus quickly spreading throughout Asia, across the world, and into the U.S. And here's what we know so far. At least 70 people. Claudia Zurita explains the country taking precautions just in case.
As in other countries, an alarm has been set and sanitary measures have been taken at the airport in order to stop the coronavirus from spreading. In Mexico City, Claudia Zurita, Unews.
Meanwhile, back here in the U.S., we have more details about the Washington State man who has been diagnosed with the coronavirus. And now to the latest on the impeachment trial of President Trump. Day 2 of opening arguments are on their way for Democrats. House impeachment managers are making the case that President Trump abused his power by pressuring Ukraine in a scheme to cheat in the 2020 election. Democrats are also calling on senators to subpoena key witnesses and evidence withheld by the White House. Pamela Silva has the latest. In other political news, Tulsi Gabbard filed the defamation lawsuit against Hillary Clinton on Wednesday, alleging the fraud to Puerto Rico. The tourism office there letting potential visitors know the island is open for business. This despite strong earthquakes that have been shaking the island since late last month. Some of the most affected areas like Guanica and Ponce are still in recovery mode. The American Red Cross is helping out in those areas. Rosemary Valdez is a spokeswoman in Puerto Rico. A 46-year-old passenger on the Royal Caribbean cruise ship Oasis of the Seas has died after going overboard. Suspended, all because of a welcome back. Mayors from around the country are calling for something to be done about so-called ghost guns. Those guns are untraceable, and officials say they're being used in more and more crimes. Rafael Rodriguez has the details. A Texas high school student is set to graduate in a few months, but the school says there's a problem, and that issue could keep him from walking across the stage. Michelle Jurado explains. Now, in a statement, the school district says that the community has a hair length policy, and that rule has been in place for decades. The school district adds that it is a quote state leader with high expectations in all areas. And now, civil rights groups are condemning the decision by U.S. customs officials to deny entry to an Iranian student attending college in Boston. It is not every day that you'll hear stories about immigrants who were deported from the United States back to their countries of origins and then allowed to return legally within a short time. Well, that's exactly what happened to Jorge Garcia. Just a few weeks ago, Teresa Rodriguez traveled to Lincoln Park, Michigan to meet his family and find out why he was allowed back home. That was Teresa Rodriguez reporting. Jorge has already applied for his residency and has his social security number so he can begin working. Because his wife is an American citizen, he will have to wait for 3 years before he can apply for his U.S. citizenship. In the meantime, he must follow the law, commit no crimes, and not take advantage of any federal assistance. And up next, a victim of a hold on camera, a suspect stealing a car with a woman and a baby inside. It happens at an airport near Fort Myers, Florida. A ticketed passenger stealing a car from the departures area. And as Ricardo Arambari reports, the quick-thinking mother jumped into the back seat to save her child. And police arrested a 36-year-old man. He now faces charges including kidnapping, battery, and also robbery. Now, an accidental drug overdose. That's how rapper Juice WRLD died late last year. He had just arrived at Chicago's Midway. When is in the middle of a deadly drug epidemic. Opioid addiction has been in the news for years, but now the federal government will allow states to use funds earmarked to address the opioid crisis to tackle meth and cocaine abuse. Vox.com senior correspondent Germán Lopez has recently spent a lot of time writing about addiction treatment in America. Welcome, Germán. To the Australia inferno, 3 Americans have been killed while fighting wildfires there. An air tanker crashing in the mountains in New South Wales, going down in a ball of fire. Paula Byron has the very latest. Meanwhile, an Italian restaurant in Australia made a massive pizza to help raise money for firefighters. DirecTV has less than a month to remove a satellite from space that says it could explode. The company will get a taste of what's trending in the world of entertainment. Sabrina Alvarez has more.
Thank you. Well, the first trending story for the week is one to keep an eye out for because it'll soon have everyone talking. Netflix has a new original series on the way filled with adrenaline and women's empowerment called This, following the footsteps of legendary performers like Whitney Houston, Garth Brooks, and Beyonce, and Aretha Franklin. I'm so looking forward to this performance, and we'll make sure that next week we'll have all the trending topics ahead of the big game. Back to you.
Thank you, Sabrina, for that report. And here's another story that has been trending. Mr. Peanut, symbol of the Planters snack food company, has... And welcome back. One dog who started his racing career with a bang has suffered a series of setbacks that left him blind, but he's refusing to sit on the sidelines. The husky named Mindy is living up to his name. Yuri Murungi has more on his story. What a beautiful story. We'll see you guys tomorrow here at Unews. Thank you for watching. Hasta mañana y muchas gracias.